Hello, Win Column. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us with reaction to the Baltimore Ravens 13-3 win over the Carolina Panthers. We will break down this game in full detail, tell you about the standout performers, also go over the injuries as well in just one moment from right now. Before we get to that, though, there's no better way to celebrate a Ravens win than to sub for dubs, right? The way that we do things around here. When the Ravens win, that means that you win. Subscribe to the channel here for the latest Baltimore Ravens news, rumors, trades, free agency, and more. If you loved what you saw from your Ravens today, as great as the defense was, if you want more of that, want to know what's happening with your favorite team, this is the place to be on the Ravens Rundown each and every day. Subscribe now for the latest happenings with your Baltimore Ravens. If you love the team, you want to see more dubs like you saw today, sub for dubs right now, youtube.com/RavensTV. The final score, 13-3. Now, I'll be honest, offensively, this was not the prettiest performance from the Ravens as they struggled to really get things going. But the way this team stood strong defensively, this was the best defensive effort we've seen from the Baltimore Ravens all season long. And I know some of you are probably going to get discouraged by the fact that the Ravens did not put up a whole lot of points in a game where you were going up against a Carolina team who has just been so awful this season. I think there was a thought that the Ravens were just going to run up the score and make this game ugly. And sure, that could have happened. That would have been nice. But at the end of the day, this is the National Football League. And you are going to get everybody's best effort. And this Carolina team, give credit to their new interim head coach, Steve Wilks. They haven't given up at this point in the year. They are still playing hard each and every week. And we saw them put up a fight against this Ravens team. The Ravens ultimately get it done. It wasn't Lamar Jackson's best day, 24 of 33, 209 yards. He had an interception and a rushing touchdown. You saw Demarcus Robinson have a really good performance. Mark Andrews was solid in his first game back from injury. But the story about this game is what the defense did. With Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, Jason Pierre-Paul, Marlon Humphrey, those guys were just on another level today. We'll break down all of it in detail in a moment and go over some statistics for you. But first, what is your one-word reaction to the Ravens' performance against Carolina? My one word is defense. I mean, the offense, it was not great, 13 points. And against most teams, 13 points would not be good enough. But the way the defense, just when push came to shove, everything from turnovers to the pass rush to everything in between, this team stood tall defensively and answered the call there. For me, my one word is just simply defense. What's your one word? Let me know in the comments section. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it and tell me in the comments section what your one-word reaction to the Ravens' performance against the Panthers is. So, although we are mostly talking defense today, I do have to run through the offense. Let's start with Lamar Jackson. The statistics for LJ today, 24 of 33 through the air, 209 yards. He had an interception, 11 carries for 31 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. Look, it wasn't Lamar's best day, but he wasn't terrible, okay? I mean, he didn't cost his team this game. If this is as bad as it gets for Lamar Jackson, I think you'll take that at the end of the day. I mean, for him to have his off day, if you even want to call it that, it came at a convenient time against a lowly opponent like the Carolina Panthers. So I'm not going to hang this over Lamar's head that he didn't play fantastic today in this win against Carolina. He'll be fine. We know Lamar Jackson is an elite player, and then he's having a very good year. How about Demarcus Robinson, though? Here's a guy, Demarcus Robinson, who was signed very late in the offseason after the Raiders released him and after spending several seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs, and was thrown into the fire, right, with this Chiefs offense. And we wondered what type of Demarcus Robinson the Ravens were going to get, essentially. Remember, his time in Kansas City, there was a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys throughout the year, just kind of up and down in his tenure with the Chiefs. And what we've seen so far in Baltimore, same kind of ordeal, peaks and valleys. It's been an up and down roller coaster for him. And with the Ravens receiving core having their issues, as we've seen, Rashad Bateman's out for the year, and there's already question marks entering this year. Credit to Demarcus Robinson for stepping up today. And look, without having a true number one receiver now, with Bateman out, basically, if you're the Ravens going forward, it is going to be a whoever has the hot hand, next man up type of day. Some days it's going to be D-Rob. Some days it's going to be Devin Duvernay. And today was Demarcus Robinson's day. So credit to D-Rob for stepping up when it mattered most. How about Mark Andrews? Missed his first game ever from injury against the New Orleans Saints in that Monday night game before the bye week. Comes back, his first game back since the injury that he suffered. And Mark Andrews was solid. Finished the day with 6 catches for 63 yards. You'll take that. For a guy coming back from injury like that, to me, that's a solid day that you'll take anytime from your tight end. And we know that he's just going to get better. So, solid day for Mark Andrews. First day back from injury, 6 catches for 63 yards. That's just fine with me. The defense we'll get to here in just a second. I need you, though, to name an MVP for the Ravens, though. Who is one player that comes to mind, whether it's on offense or defense? Let me know in the comment section. Give me one name of who should be the MVP for this performance against Carolina. Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. Patrick Queen was really solid. 9 tackles, leading all Ravens players in tackles for the day. Also had a half sack as well. And then Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith making just his second career start as a member of the Baltimore Ravens, was traded just before the trade deadline to Baltimore. And, he had, I believe it was 5 tackles against New Orleans. And then with the bye week, you wondered, okay, now is there time to acclimate him to this system, to properly understand how the Ravens do things and find the role that fits for him? And give credit to Mike McDonald and this defensive staff for catching Roquan Smith up to speed pretty fast over these last couple of weeks. He was solid with 6 tackles and a sack today in the Ravens win. And then there's Jason Pierre-Paul. Jason Pierre-Paul had a really good game. I liked what I saw from JPP with this performance, as he was able to pull off an interception today. JPP, he found the fountain of youth. He looked like a much younger player than he actually is. I loved what I saw from JPP. And then Marlon Humphrey also had an interception. This defense just gave Baker Mayfield a lot of problems this afternoon. A lot of headaches to deal with what JPP and Marlon Humphrey and some of these guys did. It was just outstanding. This was the Ravens' best defensive effort all year. Granted, the opponent was not that great, but still, credit where credit's due from that defense and what they were able to do. What say you? Rate the Ravens' defense against Carolina today, 1 through 100 for me. Hard to not put this in the 90s. It's got to be at least a 90 grade, an A grade from this Ravens team. Let me know how you would grade the Ravens' defense in the comment section. Scale it for me, 1 through 100. Today's show is sponsored by Established Titles. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted, and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title Lord or Lady under credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, and more. It makes for a great last-minute gift. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot within a few minutes of walking distance, depending on how many of you want to become a Lord or a Lady. We can build our little Ravens Rundown Kingdom together. Established Titles is actually running a massive early Black Friday sale right now with discounts up to 80% off. Plus, if you use the code CHAT, you get an additional 10% off. Go to EstablishedTitles.com. /chat to get your gifts now and support the channel here at the Ravens Rundown. A couple more things before we wrap up on the Ravens Rundown today. Let's go over the injury news for Baltimore. Now, although the Ravens won this game, the injury front, not great. Let's begin with Ronnie Stanley, as he left the game with an ankle injury in the third quarter. And the same thing can be said about Ronnie Stanley that can be said about Kyle Hamilton. Both guys left in the third quarter and did not return, and we don't know what their status is going forward. We're still waiting on that update from John Harbaugh and company, and we expect to hear something on Monday. When we do, we will pass that along to you of what's going on with both those guys. But, this isn't the first time either player has been injured. Obviously, Ronnie Stanley went a long time without playing a football game and made his return finally this year. And then Kyle Hamilton, the rookie out of Notre Dame, he's been banged up a bit at points this year as well, dating back to the preseason. So not good to have two players that the Ravens need out there that are very talented, that have, a lot of potential to already, to be dealing with these injuries again at this point. So when we get an update, we'll let you know. But the final score, the Ravens get it done 13-3. They will take on the Jags next week, and they continue their march towards the postseason, leading the AFC North. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Tyler Jones Live, and I'll see you next time right here on the Ravens Rundown. Thanks for joining us.